Hi, welcome in this new tier list from Tierlist Anything. Do you sometimes imagine how your life would be if you had superpowers? I do, and I decided to share with you some of the ideas I got. But I'm not talking about amazing powers that would make you loved and admired. Absolutely not. I'm talking about real trash powers that would bring you absolutely no benefit. In today's tier list, we're going to be ranking 20 useless superpowers from 100% certified useless to being actually good. But first, let's set today's rule. It's going to be easy. There's only one. The power must be useless. That's all. And now, let's start this tier list. Turn into a lamp once. Oh, this is so nice. I can bring light to my friends when it gets dark. This power will show itself useful. What a great way to start this tier list. But it isn't. You can't turn back. Once you're a lamp, you stay that way forever. Do you fancy being a lamp? I do not. S tier. Summon a cockroach once. I hate cockroaches. I'd be tempted to throw that in S tier and get it over fast, but I've just read that you can feed cockroaches to some fish. That makes it useful at least once, since you can just give a treat to your friendly neighborhood fish. It deserves its place in the I tier just for that. Teleport naked to the moon but not coming back. This would be cool if you could teleport on the moon with what you have on you. You'd be wearing a spacesuit. You could help NASA with a tricky situation by bringing something important to the moon very fast. And there could be a ship with a crew waiting for you to take you back to Earth. But sadly, that's not the case. You get teleported but naked. That's a death sentence. I know some of you guys will just consider powers that kill you instant F tier because you just want to be an edgelord on the internet and keep saying you want to die so bad. But think about it. Dying on the moon must be horrible. You will just disappear and be gone for good. Your body will never be buried on Earth. Go ahead and put that in F tier if you're so excited about just not existing anymore. But to me that sounds horrible and I'll put it in S tier. Invisible to insects. Now that's an interesting one. Being invisible to insects sounds like a dream come true. Bye-bye, mosquito bites. You'd be immune to so many things like bedbugs and ticks. Or maybe not. I don't know much about bugs, but maybe mosquitoes might still be able to bite you because they are able to feel you. They can smell the carbon dioxide you exhale when breathing and still detect you. The more you know. If they'll be able to bite or not is another issue. I will put this in C tier because if it works it's amazing, but if it doesn't it won't change your life. Telepathy to inanimate objects. Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, you enter the kitchen, ready to breakfast, and you project a warm hello stool. How are you today? To your stool. Because that's your power. You know the stool heard you, but the stool is not alive. It can't answer. It's not even aware that you talked to it. This seems rather useless. I can only see one way of making this power useful. Since computer are inanimate objects, if you were able to communicate with them and they'd be able to hear it and turn it into commands, it'd be super cool. You'd have ChatGPT in your head. It's pretty specific, so it's going to be tier. You and only you always see a rainbow in the sky. S tier. You'll stop watching it pretty fast once you realize that you can't post it on social medias because other people can't see it. You spend a good chunk of your time indoors anyway, so that's 100% certified useless. Congrats, you just applied a new skin to the sky. It's a nice touch, but sadly that's all. Read people's mind when they think bad things about you. This one will be hard to place objectively because it's either C tier or F tier, depending on how you perceive things. Knowing when people think badly of you is truly great. You will avoid a lot of fake people in your life. But you can also learn some very harsh truths about people you trusted and loved. This is a power you can weaponize to achieve things, so it's legit useful. The place in F tier is deserved. But also, should you be a sensitive person, if you're often confronted to people you like who often think badly of you, you'll be speedrunning depression. I don't want it. If people want to think badly of me and keep it safe in their head, it's okay. As long as they act nice towards me, I'm better off not knowing. Therefore, I'd put it in C tier. Because it's not useless, but I don't consider it good either, because I wouldn't want this power. Objectively speaking, I feel obliged to put it in F tier, but my personal rank would be C tier. Tell me in the comment how you would have ranked it. You glow and can't turn it off. That's like the first power from this tier list, but it's not as bad, since you remain who you are. Glowing in the dark can be fun, but you'll be a freak. No one will leave you alone. You'll be able to be famous pretty easily. If you wanted to live a quiet life, too bad, that won't be possible. And you will not be able to be discreet. It can be useful in the right circumstances, but in my opinion, this seems to be more like a huge pain in the ass than a good power, so I'll put it in B tier. Perfect tea temperature control. I like tea. Maybe you don't know it, but in order to be considered perfect, some high-end teas are required to be infused in water with a temperature precise to the degree, for a duration precise to the second. Temperature is the hardest parameter to control because you can't be 100% sure that the device you're using to heat the water will give you an absolutely precise temperature. This power removes the issue, letting you only manage the time of infusion, and eventually the purity of the water you use. You'd make perfect tea 100% of the time. I'd like to have perfect tea available anytime, and if I could make it, I'd sell it for a high price. This power is decent. I even consider it good. Of course, if you're a coffee junkie, this will be absolutely useless to you, but I won't let the poor life choice you made by drinking coffee bully me out of giving this power its deserved F tier. Instant and permanent hair loss. Oh, a permanent power again. Don't you feel like this tier list have a lot of one-time use and permanent effect powers? I do. This speaks for itself. All your hair will fall off forever. It sounds dumb at first, but that's because you're one of those people with great hair. I'm a balding dude. If I don't want to look ridiculous, I have to shave my head at least every 3 days. It's so annoying, and it gives me pimple. To me, that power is a godsend. I'd throw it in F tier because I'd not hesitate before using this power. But being objective, I think almost no girl would have a use for this power, and all the lucky men who don't have the balding gene wouldn't use it either. Therefore, it goes to B tier. It needs you to be a balding dude tired of shaving and sure about his choice of being definitely bald, or just someone willing to be bald forever. Whatever floats your boat. Spontaneous combustion when you feel high emotion. Have you seen the Hulk movie? When Banner wants to have sex, he can't, because it raises his heartbeat and that would turn him into Hulk. This seems to suck, but at least you can avoid your heart rate from getting high. With this power, feeling an intense emotion would set you aflame. No crush for you, no love, no getting sad when someone dies. You'd basically have to become a stoneheart if you want to keep on living. It sounds like an awful life. And before the edgelords in the comments drooling about fantasizing how they just die and be happy about it. Burning is a painful death. I would not recommend it. Anyway, Tips Fedora, S tier, super sneeze. That's trash, but it's funny trash. This is the kind of power that's not only useless, it's bad. It's really bad. Creating a huge shockwave in front of you when you sneeze is a pure nightmare. You'd destroy your house, you'd wreck everything. But it's so funny. I'd have lots of fun with this, especially considering how allergic I get in spring. I can sneeze more than 4 times in a row when my allergies get bad. It would be very fun at first, but to be fair, I'd get tired of it pretty fast. I'll put it in I tier because there must be some way of using it that's not completely a hindrance, but overall this power is pretty bad. Forcing yourself into people's mind. Once a day, you can force a random person on Earth to think about you for 10 seconds, then they forget about you. Meh. This one doesn't look useful. It also doesn't look fun. I'm sure there must be a way to use it, but I'm not even sure it's reliable. I was thinking about making a person think about you when they chose their heir, but this actually takes longer than 10 seconds, especially if you have to sign some papers and all other administrative shit. You could try to force someone to have a crush on you, but since they forget you after the 10 seconds, they won't remember that they just spent 10 seconds thinking about you, so it might not work. Furthermore, you can't even choose who gets to think about you, since it's random. Anyway, S tier. Given the circumstances, it's unusable. Sleep teleportation. Every day, when you wake up, you're somewhere else. You always get teleported naked, so you can't bring anything with you. S tier. You can be teleported to some really nice places. You can wake up on a paradise island, live your best life, then fall asleep, be teleported in the tundra and freeze to death. Keep in mind 71% of Earth's surface is water. You have almost 3 chances out of 4 to just be teleported in water and drown, or be less lucky and meet this guy. Even if the odds were in your favor, and you'd still have high chances of being teleported in such a hostile environment that you just die on the spot. In the middle of a desert, in the Amazonian forest, in the sheer cold of the North Pole. That's a bomb ticking. It's a matter of time before you just get TP'd to your death. Even if you could keep your stuff, this would be bad. If the power was you wake up in a different bed, then it would maybe be worth it if you don't get killed by someone freaking out to seeing you. That would almost guarantee death if you wake up in the US, as it seems common to just shoot and ask questions later over there, especially if you wake up in a Texas redneck's house. In that case, make your prayers and make them fast because there's no way that Hillbilly won't shoot you on sight. Permanent hiccup. Oh hell no. S tier. I don't want that shit. I have hiccup often enough. I'll skip this one. 100% useless. I don't even want to talk about it. Reverse magnetism. You repel metal. This is interesting. If you only repel metal made of iron, then it's a nuisance, but there are enough alloys out there to prevent you from ruining your life. If you repel all kinds of metal, then this power is a nightmare. but you could make it useful. Step 1. Enroll in the army. Step 2. Get deployed. Step 3. Run on the battlefield only wearing your underwear and wielding a huge wooden club. Step 4. Bonk every enemy you see. Step 5. Win the war. Step 6. Become a hero. Step 7. Defeat the Lord of Cinder. Sounds familiar? You just completed the average strength build Dark Souls run IRL. I tier, as it's useless in every other scenario. True truth. You must always tell the truth and never lie. This is basically autism, guys. You're just taking it a step further. Autistic people do it because they often don't get social cues. You do it because you're forced to, but the result is the same. But you have an advantage. Even if you can't lie, you can be delicate about it and not be blunt and hurt everyone's feelings. Always being 100% honest is actually not bad. People around you will value you for your reliable input. To me, this deserves its place in the C tier. And resurrection. I hate bugs. I told it earlier. I want elaborate further. If you want to conquer the world with ants, then this is a good power. Otherwise, it's useless. I tier. You can make your buttered bread land on the non-buttered side. This is pure fantasy. But if you could do it, you'd be able to be very careless with your buttered bread, not fearing that it falls on the wrong side. There's not much to say about it. No one goes around throwing buttered bread around. It's not good enough to be useful, but it's not useless either. C tier. Always forget the end of your sentence before you can end it. That's so bad. Talking is one of my favorite things to do. If I couldn't do it, I'd be so sad. I can't see this being useful at all. S tier. But I'd like to add that this power can actually help you too. To what? What was I saying? Alright, that settles it. As I said, there are lots of powers that have permanent effects or a one-time use, but too many of them aren't actually bad if you don't add this negative counterpart. I hope you liked this tier list. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. Have you seen my tier list about wacky business ideas? You should go watch it. It's also great.